I've had friendships where one of the things, in fact, just to bring this in, is like, I think we've had this conversation with you around grieving friendships.
Yeah.
The idea of like pursuing success to the extent that you grow and then you no longer have people to share it with because the people who you dreamt with are just no longer within your peripheral.
That is true.
And I think one of the things I've really been hopeful and the reason why I try make sure that I hold on to what we have is I never want to like get to the top and then like
you're looking around.
I'm like, where is
my password?
Yes. And it's the reason why like I'm always trying to ensure that like whatever access to information and stuff I share with you. And I think I would say, you know, I know you see as if like I do so much more and I've accomplished so much more. One thing I don't think you see in yourself is that even in the dynamic of our relationship, the way you've navigated motherhood.
That's another topic.
Yeah, the way you've navigated motherhood, even also try at the same time maintain our friendship is I would say commendable. And at the same time, I think you've gone through so many transformative seasons. I think some which in my view, would have broken you. But you've sort of always found a way. And so, you know, most people don't get to experience and see that there's that side of you. And there's the tenacious, very kind, very loving and warm person. And the kind of work it's made you do and the kind of person you've become. Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. Oh my God, I can't believe we're finally doing this. This is the first guest I'm having on my podcast, and I don't want to say welcome, guys, to Grace and Glow Up. If you missed the first episode, to just get an idea of who I am and what the podcast is all about, the link is in the description box. You could catch the first episode. But I want to get into the episode to give a little bit more of myself. And I couldn't think of anybody better to have this discussion with other than a person I'd call my sister, I'd call a friend, I'd call a bestie, partner in crime. And so I'll introduce my friend and sister and cousin. Well, from a Kenyan perspective, she's actually my cousin, but we say sister nowadays. So welcome to the podcast, Rehema.
Thank you so much, Ivy. Oh my God, this is amazing. It's a dream come true.
I know.
I'm so glad to be here and for me to witness this.
Don't make me cry. It's beginning of the episode.
Milestones, yeah?
Yes. I'm excited. So just for the viewers, this is also like a big milestone for Rehema because I don't think I've pushed Rehema out of her comfort zone. But the main reason why I think it was important to have Rehema on the episode is because I want to focus on conversations around friendship and what building sustainable long-term relationships look like. And I think Rehema and I have that. We've grown up together. When I moved to Dubai, you know, I think is where we reconnected. But so that we get into it, I'll allow Rehema to introduce herself with everything else other than what I just said. So over to you, Rehema.
I'm Maureen Rehema. I'm many things. I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a cousin, I'm an aunt. I think I wear many hats in one. And I'm just a simple girl who's just so lucky to have you, Ivy, you know, in my life. Like, I don't think words can describe it. But we'll try to, you know,
and
to shape it.
I'm already in tears. Beginning, you know, before we started the episode, I've made sure we have tissues here because I think just being able to share this moment with someone who I think we've dreamed of this together. And for those who probably maybe saw my initial episodes when I was doing a life worth living.
Yeah.
This is just a transformation version of it. In 2018, I think I did a couple of episodes, and I've grown and I've evolved over the years, and I want to build on that conversation.
Yeah.
But to get into it, I would want to ask you what makes you feel like this is a worthy relationship, because there's so many friendships that you have, but what defines what is a wholesome relationship to you?
Okay, this is not cliche, but when I think of Ivy, I think of home. Like, it's just the beginning. I don't want to start the tear works. Anyway, when I think of you most of the time, it signifies so much because we share a lot. As you're not my cousin only, you're my sister. Like, we talk about almost anything across the board.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable around you.
Yeah.
And I don't feel judged. I get called out sometimes, which is that's part of a healthy relationship, I would say. But you know, and I just it's kind of overwhelming actually. I'm just trying to brace myself because we knew each other as toddlers.
Yes.
And then at some point we just
vanished.
Yeah, we lost touch, and then it just happened that we ended up reconnecting when we are already past our teenage years and all that. And I think it's something that I think it was God sent.
Yes.
That's my take on this. Yeah.
So it's humbling, because every time I think about what meaningful friendship looks like to me is it's a kind of relationship where I think I transform and still have the consistency of love from a person.
Yeah.
And I've experienced, like, when we were younger, and then when we met while we were in uni, and then the whole transition journey to UAE, and if you missed the episode earlier on, you could catch that. But like the whole transition to the UAE and the kind of relationship we've built.
Yeah.
When I think of one person that I could say, who if they call me in jail, I don't even care what they're in jail for. We're solving the problem first. It would be you. But I'd want to go through, like, aspects of our relationship just to just give a perspective. I think we've gone through many situations, and I think over the few years we've had our relationship is I've realized that I've had seasons, we've both had seasons where we've grieved, we've had losses, we've acquired new things. And what's your take? Because I mean, we've both got different perspectives.
Definitely.
But what would you say has been the thing that has helped us navigate the different seasons that makes us still connected now?
I think keeping in touch. Sometimes we can go days, but of recent, like in the last couple of years, it had been even us having phone calls back to back, like, so I think our relationship goes deeper than just the bare, like, okay, hi, how are you doing, and all that stuff, because we check on each other.
Yeah.
So, and there's no bad feelings, because we are all on different, levels of growth, and but we still manage to reconnect and, get in touch with each other. So I think the part where we just keep checking in on each other, that's the one thing that we have maintained.
So in keeping that in mind, what would you say is the one season of your life that you felt the season, whatever it is, a transition or whatever, what season of your life do you feel you needed me the most, and like the one that significant, and I was like, you felt like that's what shaped what we have?
Oh my, so many. Oh, so many.
Like one. Because for me, can you think of something top of your head?
I can think of several, actually.
Give us one.
My pregnancy.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Which one, the first one or the second one?
Which one would you put as the first one or the second one?
I think
what comes to your mind?
Because both of them had like different feelings to them.
Of course they did,
yeah.
because at some point we ended up drifting apart.
Yes. Yeah, because I think in the first one, like I think that one was like, I felt like it was a heartbreak.
So you tell me your first one.
Because I think, okay, first, if I'm to say, based off what you just said, I'd say the relationship was the first one when you got the first baby, because you were also newly married. That was like a huge transition for both of us.
Yes.
I had to let you like build your home.
It's like you broke up with me.
Yeah, and I now no longer had the person who I call every evening to rant about like my day.
Yes.
And I think that's where I started thinking like, wait, what? So, I mean, do I need to get my person? Because my person just got taken.
I know.
Yeah, so I think I would say maybe the first one, because the first one was, the second one we'd already gotten the hang of, like the dynamics of you being married and your kids, and then prioritizing family and then the busyness of work. So I'd say maybe that, but maybe your take in terms of what you need might have been different.
To be honest, that was a big one, because for me, I just felt overwhelmed with everything that was changing in my life so fast. And by the time I came up for air, and I'm like, oh my God, Ivy.
Yeah.
Ivy, you had become this other person. You had blossomed into something else. And I'm like, okay, I need to play catch up. But then the best part about you is that I can still connect with you at any level. And it never felt like I completely lost you. Like,
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, we need to like fix this.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
For me, I think what really grounded and stabilized like the dynamic of our relationship was my move here.
Really?
Yes.
For me, that was a cakewalk.
Yeah,
I was
because
like,
I think,
you have to be here.
I think because okay. You and Linda is Rehema's sister.
Yeah. Hi, Linda.
So I guess when I moved here,
Yeah.
Experiencing the love you and Linda showed me, for the first time, I felt like I had a relationship where I didn't work for love.
Ooh.
And so
I hear you. Now you are.
oh gosh, I don't want to waste the rest of the episode.
We'll be crying.
But like, yeah, I think that was it for me. I came here and I was trying to figure it out. I had a plan, but we weren't quite sure how things are going to turn out. But the way you embraced me in that season, it's like you just took on this thing like I was just your plus one for everything.
Yeah.
And it was the little things, like you'd go to the mall, because then I was on a tight budget. You'd go to the mall and shop for stuff, and you'd always come like buy matching stuff. You'd buy a pink sweater for me and have a green one for yourself, something always matching.
Yeah.
And at that time, I genuinely had nothing to say that I'm giving to get out of this relationship. And so it's in that time where I learned that I can be loved without necessarily having to
work for it
like that, like do something to prove why someone is to care for me.
And it was effortless. Oh, come on. What's there not to love about you?
Jeez.
It's true. Like anyone who knows you, Ivy, oh my God. You're an experience. That's what I would say. And it's not flattery, by the way.
I don't want to cry for the rest of the episode, but like, yeah, so that for me was it, the having to experience that with you. And it's the reason, I think it set the foundation, because then I got to see a side of you where even at your high, I mean, the version which would have called your high, you were willing to give anything, like for me, you know, and it was the time I needed it the most. And I don't think I've experienced it that way, like before. So, have you ever felt like we're in different seasons?
All the time. Oh my God. You're always, see, this is why I want you to mentor me. I'm saying it because I believe this podcast is going to be here for a long time. And I think I'll be called back for another one.
Yes.
So,
On record,
I'm stating
okay.
you're always aspiring for more. That's the one thing. Like Ivy now, and Ivy in 6 months will be different. And everything, like not only mentally, physically, like emotionally, like whatever you pursue with passion. Like you give your all. And you know what? I need to borrow a leaf from you. As much as I've known you for a long time, I'm still trying to, But Sai, I feel that, seeing you blossom is just, I'm just happy that I'm on the front row seat,
And for me, actually, hearing you say that is, I think over the years, I've had friendships where one of the things, in fact, just to bring this in, is like, I think we've had this conversation with you around grieving friendships.
Yeah.
The idea of like pursuing success to the extent that you grow and then you no longer have people to share it with because the people who you dreamt with are just no longer within your peripheral.
That is true.
And I think one of the things I've really been hopeful and the reason why I try make sure that I hold on to what we have is I never want to like get to the top and then like
you're looking around.
I'm like, where is
my password?
Yes. And it's the reason why like I'm always trying to ensure that like whatever access to information and stuff I share with you. And I think I would say, I know you see as if like I do so much more and I've accomplished so much more. One thing I don't think you see in yourself is that even in the dynamic of our relationship, the way you've navigated motherhood.
That's another topic.
Yeah, the way you've navigated motherhood, even also try at the same time maintain our friendship is I would say commendable. And at the same time, I think you've gone through so many transformative seasons. I think some which in my view, would have broken you. But you've sort of always found a way. And so, most people don't get to experience and see that there's that side of you. And there's the tenacious, very kind, very loving and warm person. And the kind of work it's made you do and the kind of person you've become. Because I feel now there's a growth in terms of self that has happened. That I also don't think you acknowledge. And I think it's because, and the reason why I say this is because I think in the dynamic of our relationship, because I'm always like chasing something.
Yes.
It can always feel like it's in comparison to like the kind of things I'm chasing. But like because we're in different seasons.
I know.
We're chasing like different things as per our seasons.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say that. So this is just to like...
First of all, I want to take a few seconds and acknowledge that you've complimented me. I feel so privileged, and it's a shame on my part because there are all these beautiful aspects about myself that I don't seem to put them into consideration, especially when I'm assessing my level of growth.
Yes.
But the one thing I would say I'm proud of is our friendship. As in, like, that's a consistent one. And I don't intend for it to, like, dwindle. That one I'm going to fight for. Definitely.
Yeah. So, and I think it's worth mentioning because I think in relationships, I listened to an episode and I'd want to ask this here because we're talking about like how our relationship has been in different seasons. I listened to an episode on some podcast. I can't remember. But the lady mentioned, because I don't want to get flagged for this, but the lady mentioned on the episode that like we should embrace the idea of having jealousy in friendships. Like
that's not a friendship. Sorry. As in, no. We are not doing that.
Yeah,
we are not going to do that.
And apparently, the narrative was trying to insinuate that there is such a thing as healthy jealousy.
No, jealousy is jealousy. There's nothing healthy about it. If anyone is jealous, sorry to say, just that's not your friend.
Yeah.
And they will not have your best interests
at heart. Yeah.
Yes.
It reminds me of like what's her name? Oprah Winfrey gave a story or on one of her episodes. I can't remember. I used to sit down with a couple of guys, and she said the day that she knew like she needs to cut off like a particular friend is they were out shopping, and then she ended up like deciding she wants to buy this black dress, and the friend just looked at her and said, "Another black dress."
Yeah,
and she
why
was
not?
Like, it's just the way she said it.
Yes,
it's like,
of course.
And she was like, you know what?
There's a way someone can say something and it just...
she was like, immediately no. But then also, like, I think, what would you say is, since you've said me and you talk a lot, and there's odds, like, do you remember a time me and you ever fought?
Yes, recently.
Oh, really? We ever fought? Oh, that incident.
That incident.
No, but we didn't fight. We had a disagreement.
No, but you called me out on it. And you know, the humbling part was I actually took time to think about it. You know, I didn't go on the defense. If you remember, I was busy listening.
Yeah.
And after, I think maybe a day, I got back to you and I was like, you're right. Like, and you know, the funny thing is I was asking myself, why didn't I see it that way?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure in a different scenario, I would have seen it. Like if I was someone else.
Observing.
Yes. If I was observing, oh my God, I would have been so upset with myself. Yeah. So
do you think, is that the only fight we've ever had?
Actually, we usually have disagreements, but because of the level of friendship we have, we can take healthy criticism. Like, we don't think that you would say anything that would...
Try to
and sometimes some things we talk to each other, sometimes are hard pill to swallow, but it's out of love. Like, who else is going to say it to your face? Like, you know, yes, we'll be delulu together, but some things need to be, you know, addressed. So,
and I think it's the appreciation where this is how I feel about this issue. But whatever decision you take, because we ride this boat.
Yes, because we know we are both adults and we make choices. Whatever choices we make, you know, we just I'm here for you, for everything you do, good, bad. We'll cry. We'll, you know, everything. Those are the type of friends I believe that everyone should have. A friend who you can be able to be yourself around, speak your mind. Even the ugly stuff or those things that you think in your head that you don't want anyone to, you know, to hear
out loud.
Sometimes you need a sounding board so that they can call you out. Maybe you're just in your head. And you know, someone needs to tell you, hey, no, that's not it. Wake up.
I think I would say one of the things that I think has been helpful is the realization that I know consciously I have a safe space where I can be vulnerable and be myself. I can say the most clowniest of things, and I know you'll be like, well, I see where you're coming from,
of course,
that's now we're not working with that one. No, we're not working with.
Yeah, true.
Then in that case, would you say, is there a season that you felt that I struggled to show up for you?
No.
Really? You feel like I've shown up for you all the time? To be honest,
for me, on my part, I feel I'm the one who was running away from you. Because knowing my nature. Because when things get tough, I kind of like hibernate. And you've always been reaching out. Sometimes you'd give me my space and I'd be like, wait, what's this? Why are you so quiet? This is not happening, you know? So that's why I feel like there hasn't been anything on your part.
Oh, really?
No. Do you feel that there has been?
No. Like I
Yeah,
like it. Because it's good to hear like from another person, like the lens to which they experience. Because there's the way I show up that may not be the way you wanted
I
me.
wanted?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of sometimes have the same thought processes on some things, and plus, you know me. Sometimes you give me my space.
Yeah.
So
So you feel like.
yeah, I feel like I'm okay. Question has to be asked to you. Have you felt that I have not shown up for you?
No, I see. The thing is, this is one of the okay. So where I was going with this is to say, there's this whole narrative around relationships where, or if someone is not giving the same level, like cut them off or something, and just basis of this.
Hey, you ain't cutting me off.
Yeah. So on the basis of this dynamic,
yeah,
what I was trying to say is like when we're in different seasons,
True.
like. For me, the thing is, I think when I'm going through the most, I focus on other people's problems. So I show up for people instead of like wallowing in mine.
That's something to
work on. Yeah. So like and primarily it's not that I'm not really focused on my issue. It's just that showing up for other people is a good distraction to get away from what I think is a tiny problem that is, it minimizes how big of a problem I think I have, right? Because I get to listen to other people's issues and I'm like, you know what? I'm doing fine. I'm just doing fine. But I think being able to like the dynamic where we've had where I can be able to, you can reach out and I can reach out even without, I don't think we have that thing where I've been reaching out too much. So like this, so I need to pull back because there are dynamics where that rule in relationships applies. And so if someone is going through a season and they go quiet, the other person also like basically shuts down.
Yeah.
And with this whole concept of like cut people off any chance they get.
I think the basis of where people say you should cut people off doesn't really come from like genuine friendships. Unless see, if you're a person who's expecting someone to like be giving you stuff all the time, like giving their time, their money, their attention, and then the one time you don't get it, you lash out. No. But it depends. But also when you're growing, because there's a season where you grow, and sometimes some people you don't cut them off intentionally.
Yeah.
You just, they just fade away.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that that's not happening with me.
There's no fade away.
We are here. We're going to be growing old.
Like all
together.
Those grannies who take road trips, vacations with their friends.
Yes.
Okay. Another question I have is, I think we've talked about it briefly, but I'll just like circle back on it a little. What would you say the power of vulnerability in the dynamic of our relationship? Because you could say we have friends, other friends.
People should not listen to our conversations. People should not tap into our phone calls. Please, just anyway, no. I had to say it in Swahili so that I was like, no.
But what's the benefit? Like
the benefit is that I get to have a person who I can be 100% myself, and they will not to say judge per se, like probably
we listen and we judge sometimes.
Yes, we listen and we judge, but they will take it not with just they will take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah, and they won't be like just give you an answer. They'll be like, okay, where did Maureen Rehema come from? Yeah.
This context.
Yes. And what situation was she in for her to be such a thought process,
Yeah.
So, like we dive deep, we go deep into the conversation to figure out what stupidity or mindset were you in
to embrace this kind of
yes.
Yeah.
And some vulnerabilities are good.
Yeah.
To express,
because
they build on it.
Yes, I think it's where we build trust as well.
Yes, It builds.
Yeah.
Not necessarily it's just some on the negative side, but it's a positive as well. The vulnerabilities help us grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes someone has to be your sounding board and tell you that, yes, this is right. Yes, this is no.
I hear where you're coming from, but
I don't agree.
So since in this case you've mentioned vulnerability and we both know you're married. So my question is, what's the difference? How do you...
Don't finish that.
How do you navigate? So, I mean, this because me, I'm single. So I'm trying to think about like what's the dynamic? What's your thought? This is Rehema's opinion. This is not
Ivy's opinion.
And no, it's nobody's just opinions. What is your opinion on like the dynamic of having one person who is your go-to person and the balance between that and your go-to person who's your spouse? Like what's the dynamic?
There's a difference. They serve different purposes. My spouse cannot give me what Ivy gives me, and Ivy cannot give me what my spouse gives, even as a sounding board.
Okay. I was going to say, wait, that we know that.
Come on. That's not what I'm referring to. Even in terms of getting perspectives about things that I'm thinking or planning, you would give me a totally different perspective. My husband would give me a different perspective, and I would take them both and decide which one is there. Or maybe combine both.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, are you telling me you ignore some of the things your husband says on the basis of what I'm saying?
No, not ignoring, but because I believe at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to make the decision, right? So even if I'm married, I still have a choice, and I have to live with my choices and my consequences as well. So
there's that. Okay, so a few more questions.
Yes.
What have we learned about building and maintaining strong friendships?
We've learned that they're not easy. They take work. That's true. Vulnerability, being present, regardless of whatever problems you're going through, and also God.
Oh, let me tell you, you've just said that. You've reminded me of something on the God beat. So I had a conversation with a lady friend. Shout out to, you know who once I said this. So we were having a conversation around, she called me like during my birthday a few days ago, and she was telling me how she joined this forum and they were discussing about the dynamic of trust and what she believes is God's idea of trust. And now I'm thinking about, and who should we give it to? And she said, trust is something that we are supposed to only give to God. Because if you look at the dynamic of all the relationships that we have, the only place you can actually trust blindly is trusting God. And then to be able to trust God and be loved by God is the only way then you get to trust another person, because you trust God to have loved that person for you to be able to love as an extension of that person. So the only way to have a God-like type relationship is like having experienced what the faithfulness and the confidence in having a friend in Jesus looks like.
Yes.
And then being able to like remodel. So like in the dynamic of a relationship, the middleman is actually God. So I love God, God loves you. And so you're able to love me because God loves you and I love God. And that's the trust aspect of things. But you cannot have full trust in a person because a person is bound to like heartbreak you. Yeah. And I guess maybe that's the reason why I think in the dynamic of our relationship, I'd say I just purpose to see you the way God sees you. And that's why sometimes I think I get to see...
Don't judge.
Well, God judges at times.
God judges, yes.
Yeah. But I think I look at you like the way I think God sees you. And which in times I realize sometimes you also don't get to see that.
That is true. Plus also like... when I think of you, Ivy, I think of you as my sister. So I don't really, like the cousin part is just a formality, like, and you're my sister in God's love. in blood. Thank God we're related. Because, yeah. So for me, it comes easy.
Yeah. So I would say my own lessons would be, I think, beyond vulnerability and the trust aspect of things is just what I said before, that it is actually possible to like find unconditional love in human form.
In
And
friendships.
yeah, it is. And I know people just put unconditional love when it comes to matters romantic relationships.
But romantic relationships are conditional anyway. Maybe this is a topic for another discussion.
I digress. But yeah, I think for me in friendship, it's possible to like cultivate the same. And I know unconditional doesn't mean like lackadaisicalness. Like
I know.
Just
I mean, like,
it just means like I love you because you're you.
Yes.
And I'm with you in this, like the way you are now.
Yes.
And as I still hope for you to become a better person, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. That would be like what I think I've learned out of this dynamic.
Friendship.
And I think it's the reason why we can transition.
Thank you for loving me even half of the time you want to hit me on the head.
You make it seem like we are those sisters who are like on complete opposites.
Not really. I don't think we are on complete opposites. Just slightly behind.
There's no such. Well, I wouldn't say that, but that's from your perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. What if you were to advise someone on nurturing meaningful relationships and add on to some of the things we discussed? What would be that thing?
See,
nurturing. Because you also have other friendships, by the way. And
really, do I?
You have other friends.
I think they tend
There's
to.
a person
I tend to be on the background.
First of all, just for the record, as much as Rehema is talking like this, there's a best friend she has, and it's not the another one that's not to me.
I do.
So yes. So what's the advice on those friends? Like, what would you say is if you were to tell someone, if you want to build meaningful relationships, this is how I think you'd do it? Your version.
My version? My version is just wing it. Like, honestly.
Just wing it. We don't wing it.
Well, half of the time we just... For me, it comes naturally. I wouldn't say... I would say if you value the person, and most of the time, half of the time, I don't even expect them to do anything for me. It's just because who they are. So if you go in not expecting anything, that way, it's easier. There's just meet each other at wherever point you are, speak to each other, build on it. Not having expectations. The moment you have expectations, and expectations are good.
Yes,
okay?
I was going to say,
No, expectations are good. I'm not building on expectations that are, bad. But if you have ulterior motives in the relationship, of course it will not work. Because my friendship with Ivy is just because I just want to be around her. Like, every time I go and see Ivy, just FYI, when I go home, I just feel happier.
Well, because...
It's like, she pours into my cup.
Yeah, we pour into each other's cups.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's that. If you feel that every time you meet a person, you get out of it, you feel like a better version of yourself, or you feel like a weight has been lifted, or you feel, it's... Sometimes you can't even describe it, but you find yourself smiling to yourself, You're just happy, you don't know, but then you met someone and said hi. Yeah. It's the small things sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, there's a quote I read. I can't remember who said it, but it was like, friendships are like tiny doses of kindness multiple times. Like, that's like tiny doses of kindness repeatedly is what like makes friendships. But you said something around no expectations and giving, I wanted to ask, I'll answer what I think about you, but I wanted to ask between us, if between the idea of givers and takers, what do you think I am?
You're both. You're a giver.
Okay, I'm both. I'm a giver and a taker.
Yeah.
Which
one? Because see, you're more of a giver, but also you take. From the meaningful friendships that you have.
Yes, I get. Because not all of them are like for taking. Yeah.
Of course.
I would say, for me, the reason why I'm asking is, I never used to be a giver. You taught me giving.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I said, what changed our unconditional love.
This I have to give a shout out to my mom.
Yeah.
My mom has been like the biggest example of a giver in my family. So I think that's where I get that from her.
Because even Linda is like that.
Yes. Yeah. So that's for her mom.
And I'd say the reason why I'm saying that is because when we stayed together, it's like even when you had little, you felt like it's for sharing.
Yeah.
And so you constantly gave. And it's the reason why I was like, if someone who I haven't given anything felt that I was worthy to be given that much, I should start giving. And it's until then that I started realizing that the more I give, the return of giving,
it's tenfold.
Yes. And then it doesn't, and it's not necessarily comes from the person you gave to.
Yes, it usually doesn't come around from the same person.
Yes.
It's from a different angle. Even probably not even from a person. It's from something totally different. I have experienced this also in in my life. Yeah. So
since, just by the way, I brought Rehema here, and I don't think she expects me to say this. I brought Rehema here because I'm challenging Rehema to go out of her comfort zone this year. This is one.
Yes, true.
But I also would want to, because I do believe you got a lot of potential in terms of also some of the things you want to do.
Yeah.
But if, where would you want people to connect with you? Because I know you used to be big on social media, and then now, for whatever reasons.
Well, I'm still on Instagram. I don't post as much as but if you want to reach out, you can find me on Instagram.
What's your name?
Rehema Anzazi.
Yeah.
Yes. Find me on Instagram,
Rehema
Anzazi. The mom.
The mom on Insta.
Simple things.
Yeah.
Enjoying simple things in life.
This is, to be honest, in a nutshell, I think this just gives a glimpse, and I'm sure this is not even a quarter of like the conversations me and you have.
We just scratched the surface.
Yeah, me and you have. But I think this just gives the reason why I made also sure that I had you on the podcast is there's a side of who I am, and a lot of some of the people that I'm going to have on the podcast as well, who are my sounding board and where I get some of my ideas and views from.
Yeah.
And because it's shaped the way I've grown, I want to share that with my community.
Yes.
And you being one, and hopefully we'll see you in more episodes when Rehema would have like great feedback on the progress she has done on her goals.
Oh my God, calling me out.
And I'm sure she'll tell us on those. So looking forward to like the work me and you're going to do.
Yes.
And thank you for also coming to the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I would say for you guys, like whatever, I'd want to hear what are your thoughts on like friendship, the kind of lessons you've learned in the dynamic of your relationships with friends. If you want to have other different conversations and topics around navigating friendships, a little bit more in depth, please feel free to let me know, share that on the comment section, and looking forward to hearing from you guys. See you guys on episode 3. I'm glad I'm actually on a consistent roll with these episodes. So I'd really appreciate to get your feedback, your thoughts on some of the things you think we could do better in the future episodes, and keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. We're on Instagram on the Glow Up, Grace and Glow Up podcast. So see you then. Thank you.